Alright, we're in my 1990 Toyota Sera, as you can see from the door. I have an issue with my speedometer and the tachometer as well. I'm just assuming the connections in the back are disconnected. I can tell that somebody's already cracked it open since they put this mile per hour taped on here, when obviously it needs to be just in regular kilometers per hour. So I know somebody's already fucked with it before. So goal is to take this off, get behind here, disconnect this, take a look at the back, and then reinstall it and hopefully get everything reconnected and back up and running. So there's two tabs, one there and one there, that need to be popped off, and there should be screws that hold this top portion in place. I have a non-metallic scraper I picked up from our isochronal section on base. They do our C-130 inspections every 2 years with a bunch of Lockheed contractors. Really great, doesn't mar up existing panels, or it's not metal, so it's a good non-metallic scraper. Also used to help remove sealant that are on aircraft panels as well, but I ended up snagging one because I know I can use it for a lot of uses at home as well. So go ahead and pop these off and then see what those screws look like. All right, now I got the panels removed, a little tab there, and then another one there. I guess the metallic scraper, this fucking aftermarket alarm's fucking annoying. But anyways, so I got those screws removed. These are what the little tabs look like up close. Let's see here. Here's the part number for it. But I guess the non-metallic scraper was a little too thick here at the top, and they're kind of afraid from taking off aircraft panels and removing sealant. So I ended up going with one of these real fine tip points and just getting a wedge right in between the corners there, and then just go slowly and carefully popping the tab out. So that'll work as well. Plus it's sitting up underneath here, so it won't be too hard to notice, especially for anybody else. I was trying to look under here. Very similar setup to a MR2, which I have next door. It has this nice little top portion that comes up. I'm gonna take these two screws off. God damn it, fucking alarm. So fucking annoying. All right, so now let's just remove this portion after I remove these two screws. All right, so here's the screws I pulled out. Just your typical Toyota screws. A little bit of oxidation on them, but they're still pretty decent. Heads aren't stripped out or nothing, so I'll reuse those. But here we go, the top portion are removed. These two screws are up in here. This should just slide forward. And then there we go, there's the top portion. Looks in pretty good shape there. Here's the part number if you're interested. Light's a little fucked up, but there you go. 55404-18010 or 55421-18010. There you go, the screw holes are right up in there to hold in place. Not too bad. Set this aside here. And then here's the top portion there. Let's see, this gauge cluster is connected by a couple more screws at the top there. 3 more, and then this should be able to slide out, but you gotta be careful due to the connections that are already in the back there. So I might have to pop the hood, maybe give it a little bit more slack in the lines in order to take some of these out, or some of these ones over here out as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of these top screws and then go from there. All right, I finally got this thing fucking removed. All the connections are off, hopefully. I had to push the speedometer cable from the engine bay forward a little bit more, give it a little bit slack. And here we go. So that's what's behind mine. It's been that way for a while. I broke this tab off just a second ago on accident, but it'll fit right back into place. So there's 4 connections here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 for the speedometer. And this is obviously broken here, whatever the fuck this goes to. Some fucking jerry-rigged wiring going on. But I'll see what happens with that, and get everything all cleaned up, and hopefully I can get this thing back up and running the way it was. Alright, here's the back side of it. Everything looks pretty good for the most part. Just needs a little probably cleaning. Get some electrical cleaner in there and clean up this section here. Try to get it as nice and clean as possible. Here's your lights that you can change out. These little guys here, just slide over. But there's everything now. Not too bad. Alright, I got the front glass off, or really glass, more plastic covering here. Held on by a bunch of screws. Like one there, one there. A couple more down here, and then there's a tab here on each side. I'm just gonna peel off the sticker here. I don't need this. I already know where these are in miles per hour here in the States, so I'm gonna take that off, and then I'm gonna clean up the back side. So there you go. And then also for this, there's a little screw that fits right on the top to keep the roller portion in place from hours to minutes. Yeah, just kind of twist it. So that's what keeps this in place when the plastic and the front's on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up here. All right, so here's the back side of it. I got some of this cutie electronic cleaner, so hopefully I'll just spray a little bit of this on here on the back side, try to clean up some of this oxidation that's on here, and hopefully this will help some of the connections to the circuit board paper here, and hopefully get that going. Hopefully that'll work. Fix up these connections here if there's any corrosion down here where the contact points are. Yeah, I can see maybe a little bit, but not too bad. Just kind of clean it up a little bit, and that should do the trick here. Everything else doesn't look too bad on here. Just some of these screws might have a little oxidation on them, just due to age and all that, but I'll give it a shot here. After you remove the screws that are along the outside here, this allows this to pop off. And if you flip it over, shows you what it is. Temperature gauge and your tachometer, plus a couple of lights. And this is the back side. The circuit board on there actually looks like brand spanking new. Like not a mark on it or nothing, no corrosion or anything, which is great. You see all these good little reflectors that are down here. But yeah, there's the inside of that portion. Let some screws soak since they were a little bit oxidized, and then I'll go ahead and take care of these screws here, and then put these screws back in, and then let these soak. Probably in some WD-40, clean those up a little bit, and then put those back into place, and then take this back down to the car and pop her back in. All right, so these are the lights here. These little spots here. Pretty easy to take out. These also a row of lights up here, but kind of little quarter turn. Hit a click, and then they'll pop out. And if you want to replace them, they're fairly easy. Just probably buy the whole unit as a piece, and then so you see, kind of like a key, and you just pop it in, and then turn it back to horizontal, and it should have like a little click to where it's secured. You want to over tighten it, just make sure it's good in place. There we go, that's nice and snug there. Same with these ones down here. I kind of cleaned up the connections. As you can see, this one's kind of a little oxidation on the side. It's just these connection points here that make contact with that circuit board, and make sure to turn the light on. And make sure that circuit's in there. I'm gonna try to clean this one up a little bit more, as well as the surrounding circuit board with the cleaner I got here. Isopropyl alcohol will probably work just as well as if you don't have any of this cleaner. It's only like a couple bucks at Walmart, I think. That's where I picked it up. And then there's that. I just got my screws out of here that I've just been soaking in WD-40, and they all actually look pretty good. Try to clean up some of this oxidation on them, and I'll fit those back in this side, and then I'll do it for the left side here, and that should be good. And then you got this portion here for your clunk. That part just comes out here like that and fits into place right in there. And I'm gonna put this back on here, and then there's the screws for it there. But I gotta flip it over, hold it in place, and then put the screws in the back. So that'll be the challenge here. And then I'm gonna do the same for the other side over here. All right, just remove these lights up here. Just again, a little quarter turn. I just use a small little screwdriver here. And as you can see here, they just have the little Phillips cross there, or you can use a flat head as well. There you go. And they're super tiny, so there they are. And then I'm just gonna clean up this little circuit board back here, and then give it a quick rinse there in this cleaner, and then pop them back in. All right, so I got this connection back in its place here, and then I got these two back in the spot here. And down here, this tab's here at the top. This tab is down here at the bottom. This tab here is at the top, which broke off. The last part is to get the speedometer cable connected back into that spot, and then I should slide it back into place, get these screws back in. All right, so there's your speedometer cable that connects to the back of the gauge cluster. There's a little tab here that holds it, and then the two-piece, the rest of it's down there. You can see straight ahead. Put my hand on it. Yeah, right there. Which goes straight down to the transmission. But we need to give it a little slack, try to push it in. And you can see it come in, or push it back out. You know, fit snug back into that spot. And then you can just put it right back onto that tab that sticks out. And fit her in the right spot. There you go. All right, now I got the speedometer cable back on. Hopefully this will fix it. Everything's good to go now. Now I just gotta put the screws back in, and they're all down here. So just a little by little, just throw them back in and get this thing properly seated. All right, I just got this last tab here to put back in. You see somebody else previously fucking tore the shit out of it and marred it up. But just be careful with these and just pop that in there like that. All right, this one's being a little bastard. Let me try with the other hand. Steering wheel doesn't really move much, so I'm just gonna fight with that in the way. And this one doesn't really want to go back in that spot. What the fuck? There it goes. I guess one direction only. All right, so there's that, and that's it. It's all back in the spot. Just remember, when you put this back in, put those screws all the way along the outside in, which I forgot to do, so I had to disconnect everything from the back, reseat it again, and then put this back on, and then put the little tabs back into place, and there you go. Everything's back to the way it was, and that's how you remove and install the gauge cluster. All right, gauge cluster is out. This is where the speedometer connects right there, as you can see. Now I just gotta feed in the new speedometer. I pulled the old one out, which is this piece here. It's a two-parter, but as you can see, it snapped off there. It should run the whole length of the cable, as the new one does. As you can see, once I push on this, that portion should come out, and vice versa. There. So it's one long cable that runs all the way through. The other one's a two-piece with it snapped. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed this one in, and then connect it to the transmission, that part, and that'll go to the back of the gauge cluster, and hopefully everything works. All right, get that tightened down there. Went in okay, so hopefully that's the right fit for the car. Got all the excess cable. Comes over the top here. There should be a little bracket. I'll try to feed some of that excess there too, feed the rest of it through there, and that should be it. Oh, it's working, thank God. God, I had to use a speedometer out of a fucking early 90s Tercel, but hey, it works.